Get low, low. Get low, low.
Standing up too high with nowhere to fall down to, empathy around you. Standing looking back, you heard it all before. Now losing what you didn't know you had. Fearing what you want is nearing, but you're really trying to get away from it. you had. The dark life to some shine a light. Reveal the fire goes, so everybody knows. You had a good chance, but didn't say much. Left it too late now to apologize. Oh, time has gone too out with memories to burn down and empty sympathy. Your followers know it now. Your followers know it now. Your followers know it now. Your followers know it now.
Send your podcast to the great point. Send your podcast to the great point. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Yo, got them from great boy. Send your podcast to the great point. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the floor like Facebook. Yo, got them from great boy. Send your podcast to the great point. Send your podcast to the great point. Send your podcast to the great point. Send your podcast to the great. Send your podcast to the great point. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the bar like Facebook. Yo, got that from Great Boy. Send your podcast to the Great Boy. Hey, put you in your place, look. Leave your thoughts on the bar like Facebook. Yo, got that from Great Boy. Send your podcast to the Great Boy. Great Boy, 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 Great Boy Send your punk ass to the grave, boy. Send your punk ass to the grave, boy. Send your punk ass to the grave, boy. Send your punk ass to the grave. Hey, hey, yo, yo. Hey, hey, yo, yo. Send your punk ass to the grave, boy. Send your punk ass to the grave. Send your punk ass to the grave.
I do not know as much about human relationships as I thought.
so I've got my new 3080s, I've got a Cooler Master TD500. Man, now what I need is a 750 watt power supply that's fully modular, 80 plus gold, but still has quiet fans. Where am I gonna get a power supply like that? Oh, what if I did a white build? Well, that makes it worse. I mean, who makes a white version of that power supply? I already have a big enough struggle. Man, this sucks. Now I'm never gonna get a power supply. I'm not gonna have any power whatsoever. Oh, the V-Gold-V2 offers the high-quality user experience you've always wanted, enjoying 80-plus gold efficiency rating, full modular cabling, semi-fanless operation, 135mm FDB fan, high-efficiency cables, and a 10-year warranty. At 550, 650, 750, and 850 watt levels, this is now available with white and black casing and cables. If you want to know more about the V-Gold V2, check the link in the product description below.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Women's League Season 5. Week 7 is upon us. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. I'm joined today by Proto, who did finally come out victorious in the bed wars over Blue Panda, who, look, unfortunately, he tried to rig the game, steal the platinum chip, but at the end, look, things backfired.
Some cheese gaming came out and we came out on top. What can I say? It was time to get good, and get good we did. We managed to walk away with a dub, and here we are. We made it to the mainstream. It only took 2 weeks, but we're back.
Yeah, managed to finally grind out, get to the main channel. But yeah, look, we are here for some more juicy content of the Women's League, some more juicy games. But before we do get into all of the nitty-gritty and cool stuff, let's quickly run through all of the formalities real quick to get a refresher over how things been going for us, how things format-wise and price pool-wise been going for us. Look, we've had a phenomenal season. We had, we started off with 8 teams, kind of did dial down to 7 teams that did join us by the conclusion of the regular season. Group stage, we had a best of 1, and then starting from, I believe, next week, or well, rather next play days, best of 3s all day long, with semi-finals and finals being best of 3s, and we'll also have the third place playoff. And, well, Proto, you might be asking, oh, well, you already pretty much know this as like a mantra at this point, but for some viewers, what else are these girls playing for apart from just some bragging rights?
Well, we do have some interesting incentives here at the Women League. And by incentives, I mean the prize pool. Ladies and gentlemen, these teams are fighting for their grab at over $3,000 all up across the prize pool. $1,500 for first place, $1,000 for second, and $500 for third place. So a lot of money being thrown around here, all sponsored, thank you very much, by Ubisoft. And a massive prize pool to say the least. But that's what we're battling it out for here.
Yeah, look, plentiful amount of incentive really here to just crack the United Bank of money and get yourself some fresh, dollary dues. Yeah, and game supplies as well, yes, indeed. But, well, let's get to our standings as well, get ourselves refreshed on how things so far have been unraveling. We have our top 4 currently locked in. Cracked, Fallen Angels, Skyfire, Wrens, and then from 5th to 8th, we go Grumpy Grapes, Viking Army, Radical Rebels, and Silex Angels, who unfortunately pulled out. So overall, look, we've had one of the more competitive seasons to date within Women's League. And even the battle for the top places has been very heated.
I mean, we've seen a lot of changes so far throughout the Women's League. Obviously, Elevate no longer exist with their players
True.
being split up across multiple rosters now, but Quacked have ultimately taken that top dog spot now. They are playing for number one, and they haven't lost a single match yet. Fallen Angels have made their way up to second. Skyfire lost their second spot, unfortunately, last week, taking 2 L's, unfortunately. And Wrens have made their way up the ladder as well. So it is really, really close in terms of standings for the top of the ladder. We are seeing a lot of sort of aggressive style of gameplay coming out for these top 4 spots. They really do want to take it to the finals.
Indeed, yeah. Look, even the teams at the 4th place could, well, still give quite a run for the money to teams like Quack, teams like Fallen Angels. Albeit, funnily enough, well, Fallen Angels were considered kind of the underdogs going into the last weekend. They managed to pull off a phenomenal upset against Team Skyfire. So going in tonight, we might be seeing some very interesting matches. And as a matter of fact, let's have a quick peek at the matches that we will be having tonight throughout the whole play day. For round 1, we have quite a fair few matches that could be either solidifying the top 4 positions or possibly could introduce a little bit of a possible upset.
Well, we do see Radical Rebels versus Skyfire, Fallen Angels versus Grumpy Grapes. And for the mainstream, we will be seeing Quacked versus Wrens. Very, very interesting game bringing in round 1. And for round number 2, Team Skyfire are going to be taking on Grumpy Grapes. Radical Rebels will be taking on Viking Army. And Fallen Angels, again, are going to be taking on Quacked. And that is going to be our second game for tonight. So 2 very, very spicy games for me and Cthulhu, and 2 very, very spicy games for everybody here on the mainstream tonight.
Indeed, yeah, look, quite exciting times really here for ourselves. Well, as a matter of fact, let's actually dig straight into our very first matchup. It is Quack versus Wrens, like you mentioned, the matchup of the first place versus, I believe, we just seen 3rd place? Fourth place, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Epic game of moments. Honestly, no, Wrens is one of the teams that managed to show us some fair few really good matchups, but with that said, they also had a fair few large hiccups, which did result in them being on the 4th position, and so far looking at one of the less favorable seeds going into the playoffs. But this could possibly be the teaser for what could we be expecting when the playoffs do hit us. As a matter of fact, I believe we also have the rosters as well to have a look at, so as well have a quick peek at them as well, get ourselves familiarized with all of the phenomenal gamers. Up first, we do have Quag, the roster so far that managed to dominate the season of Women's League. Crips T, Time for Pie, Diana, AJ, and Soy, all of them absolutely correct at their craft.
I mean, if you just look at the roster, I mean, straight away, all of them positive, really, really good sort of cost rates up towards more of that 1.0. I mean, all of these girls are really just they are really just cracked on the game. They know how to play it. They know how they want to execute. And Quacked really are one of those sort of top tier teams, and we see that it's evident on the scoreboard. Obviously, first place, 0 losses. They really can't be stopped at the moment, but they are going to be going up against the Wrens tonight, who we've also seen some pretty interesting things from.
Yeah, look, Wrens definitely is one of those rosters that, going into some of the previous seasons, they've had the kind of that vibe of like middle of the pack kind of performance, and they've managed to perform still relatively well in some of the previous seasons. This time they had a few changes, a few introductions, namely Cortari from Elevate roster joining them with kind of bringing a little bit more kind of more positive, more kind of fun, funk around kind of vibe to them, and they were able to show us some very interesting, some very unusual, unconventional performances that did manage to get them to relatively high positions on the leaderboard.
Yeah, even just Cortari, her fragging ability is just such a massive addition to this roster. Wrens have definitely benefited from it, and ultimately could be Quack's undoing tonight. We could see, as you said at the start, these teams are going to be very, very able to bring it to teams like Quacked, especially with rosters like this. Wrens do have a very good potential to possibly cause a massive upset, as we've already discussed. I mean, we could see them shoot up to third tonight. We could see them take down Quack for their first map loss, but it's going to come down to the actual game in the end.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's have a peek at the maps and the map bands as well. Get ourselves familiarized with where we are going to be seeing ourselves on. And well, who would have thought that it's going to be any different? Well, Oregon is upon us.
Yes, Oregon is obviously a fan favorite in the Women's League, apparently. It's a map we see almost every week here on the mainstream. Let's just in case we forgot, let's have a little look around Oregon, familiarize ourselves with the map layout, and just have a little bit of a squiz before we jump on into it. Obviously, Quacks versus Wrens on Oregon's going to be our first matchup tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in, get ready, because this is going to be a big one.
Indeed, yeah, look, very exciting times. Quack to begin their side on defense, which is promising to be a very solid start for them, given the fact that, well, defense has been so far, well, for the majority of the times, one of the more performing sides for majority of these teams. So we'll have to figure out what is going to be the actual storyline here going into the bans. Do you reckon we can expect something unusual?
With Oregon sort of shifting now, Thatcher obviously a pretty standard ban for Quacked, and ultimately a ban I expected with them starting on the defense. The question is, are Wrens going to choose to ban out the Flores, who has ultimately become quite a pivotal operator on a map like Oregon because of the shield meta on those downstairs bomb sites? But no, it's actually going to be Jackal. He's going to be removed instead. So Flores is still going to be on the board. But Wrens could pair up, obviously playing the Flores now, with a mute ban, maybe a Mozzie ban, something a little bit more out of the ordinary. Could just see Mirror as well and keep it as the double Spaniard, but no, it's going to be Cade instead, which leaves everything up to Quacked. Are they going to keep the mute in? Are they going to choose to ban the mute, or is it just going to be Mirror? What do you think?
Mirror would kind of make a little bit more sense, given the fact that we didn't really see as prevalent pick rate of Flores as one would have probably expected. So batting out a Mirror would probably be a little bit more feasible, to say the very least. And there we go. Yeah, it is going to be a Mirror banned by Quacked, but just for the sheer fact that we also seen, like, whenever Mirror was able to make her way into the game, she was able to overturn defense so hard in its favor that there wasn't really much to be done apart from like trying to maybe nade behind the Mirror window, and even that was like usually negated by either a Wamai disc or a Jaeger device.
Even with the new Mirror nerf that has been implemented, she's still really, really good because obviously you have to get close to the Mirror to be able to punch the Mirror, and ultimately someone is going to be behind that Mirror not wanting to let that happen, which means Mirror is still a very, very viable choice, which is why we see her banned out most of the times. But I am seeing a spicy lineup coming to fruition here from Wrens. We have a Lion, we have a Ying, we have a Tiltech 6-pick Blitz, we have a Dokkaebi, and we have a Blackbeard. This first round, ladies and gentlemen, could be one for the ages if Quacked get caught by surprise here. But the rush is going to be something that I am very excited for.
100%. Yeah, look, this is definitely looking extremely spicy. Very keen to see what could really come out of that because, yeah, look, this has the potential to be absolutely painful to deal with, absolutely probably painful to watch for some of the even players, and yeah, look, server might be having a bit of a poopy time.
It's the servers have been a little bit iffy for the last couple of days. But there we go. Sporky has disconnected. Unlucky. Probably going to lead to a tactical Rios here, ladies and gentlemen. We will just
we'll wait for them to call it. Yeah,
we'll just see what happens and see if the call is made. I'd imagine it will be correct. But either way, no pauses during rounds, unfortunately. But the rush is something that I'm very, very interested to see if it will come out for Wrens. It's obviously with Sporky being disconnected, that is going to be a bit of a shame, and I'm assuming they're going to call for a rehost here. We are just waiting for the confirmation, but all of the operators are obviously going to be exactly the same. Everything will be stuck. Everything will be replayed. There we go. So the rehost has been called, unfortunately, but we will be able to get Sporky back in relatively quickly and continue on with that game. This first round is something that I'm very, very excited to see. I'm sitting in my chair. I'm all excited, and Sporky disconnects. No, I have to wait a little bit longer for the rush. But I mean, look, it happens. It's okay. It's Siege, unfortunately, but she will be back, and we will get to see this rush come out. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that is going to work in favor of Rens, or do you think that Quacked are going to have their heads on them and they're going to be able to completely shut down?
Look, I am not seeing a single bit of trap operators. I'm not seeing. I'm only seeing the only thing that could really thwart it all is the Wamai Jaeger combo. But knowing the usual setups, I'm expecting majority of those to be placed around the attic / maybe the double window. So where the actual push might be coming from, aka the trophy master bedroom or the armory stairs, I don't think a whole lot of utility is going to be there. Maybe a single Melusi to just warn them all, but by that time it's going to be already a full-on flood onto the site.
Quack do have that smoke as well, which could somewhat be beneficial in that rush situation. Obviously, with the blitz sort of in play, it's going to be a lot harder because there is going to be sort of that battering ram force going just straight through the middle of a bomb site. The only issue with the blitz, I think, that Rens are going to struggle with is obviously it's going to be the multiple engagements. Quacked are going to be set up really, really well. We've seen them set that top floor up really, really well. They're going to have people roaming. They're going to have people in attic. They're going to have people in the main site. And there's going to be multiple crossfires. I think if Rens can pull it off, it will be really, really well done. But Quacked are definitely going to have, I'd imagine, the site set up in the right way. They might not necessarily have the direct denial in play, but I don't really think it's going to sort of hinder them too much in their attempt to sort of hold on to it. But Rens could make a mess, especially with that Ying. It will be the downfall with obviously the Jaeger Wamai, but Ying is going to be a pivotal point in this push. I think if they can get it off, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that even Ying, if she won't get to flash anyone, her utility is absolutely going to be pivotal here to just drain out all of these utilities, all of these Wamai magnets, Jaeger devices, and from there on is just nothing really to just slow down the onslaught of the flashbangs, smoke grenades, and just any other utility really. With that said, maybe something like an Aruni would have actually made even more sense to be picked here, or even something as basic as Castle. That would have been able to, at the very least, prep the Rens roster for this kind of rush, for the sheer amount of violence that is coming up at them. And we'll have to see what is going to be the outcome, because obviously now there is that kind of the chance for Rens now that they at least know what they're about to face. So whilst we getting Sporky back into the play, maybe during that time we are going to be seeing some sort of readjustments as to like how they're going to wait essentially for the push to happen.
Obviously, they've had some time to talk about it as well. Now, instead of going straight into that first round, we're now going to have Quacked of, hey guys, this is the lineup. What do we think? Rens are going to be doing the same thing, obviously, which means that we could see completely different versions of what we've just theorized. Obviously, they've had the time to talk about it now. They've prepared mentally for it. It's not going to be as much of a shock. So possibly the strategy isn't going to be as hopeful as Rens were sort of looking for.
Never mind. Sorry, wrong one.
There we go. We are going to have to hit the double RH there, but it's fine. Villa would have been cool, but Oregon's what we've got tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But as I said, it's going to be whether or not Quacked can sort of now, obviously, with that time that they've had to think about it, they're going to be able to possibly push the Rens back. And now are the Rens going to be regretting picking that rush operator? Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, they've sort of had their whole plan flipped on its head, eggs being cracked everywhere, and now everyone knows what the go is. It's bit of a feels bad moment, but I guess we're going to see when we reconnect into the game.
Yeah, look, we'll definitely have to see what is going to be the outcome here, because look, unfortunately technical difficulties kind of messed up there, but we are going to be back after a little bit of a break. We'll quickly get that sorted out and back at you in a short break.
to get away.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Finally, we've sorted all of the technical difficulties that were plaguing us. We back, we keen. Same sights, same picks are upon us. Same absolutely disgusting picks so far. I believe we are missing one, and that should be the 6th pick of the Tiltec 6th pick from Angry Wolf. Because I do very vividly remember. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Same picks. Scythe Blitz on our way to try to essentially pull what Kraken did back at OCL in week 2, which, by the way, back then that was absolutely like, I felt like my brain was expanding, seeing like the sheer amount of team play around a single operator.
The amount of utility that Rens have as well. I mean, 6 smoke grenades, 3 flashbangs, plus 3 incandelas, 3 EE1Ds, 2 Dokkaebi calls, 3 blitz flashes, and obviously Blackbeard is his own sort of can of beans with the rifle shields, obviously. But Rens have a lot of utility. However, we look at the lineup that Quacked are bringing, the Jaeger, the Wamai, that is a lot of anti-utility, as well as that mute, because mutes can actually stop blitz flashes. So if placed in the correct spot, Pi is going to be able to shut down some of that blitz utility, which could ultimately change the outcome of the round here for Rens. But starting it off now, finally, for our first round, we will see Rens with a bit of a split spawn. We got a couple over to the north, a couple to the south. I believe we even see one off to the west as well, but they are all converging towards a similar location, which is going to be towards that front side of the map. We do see Blitz breaking into garage, will be spotted out now by Soy on the camera, so the jig is up. The information has been gained. However, we do see Quacked on that sort of SSG style roam, and by SSG I mean obviously the extension with the hatches. Diana is in meeting, will spot out Blitz, no damage dealt just yet, supported by some of her Quacked teammates. It's going to be hard for Rens to deal with this, and it's going to be an early drop from Diana.
Indeed. Well, there is already some presence happening also on the windows into the kids' bedroom as well, so we are slowly seeing the convergence happen. Oddly enough, Angry Wolf is playing for a solo gameplay and might just run into Diana's trap if that could be the case. But right now, you look at this site, only 2 players currently on site, and an EE1D does pop, so we may just be seeing a very, very quick execution here.
With the Angry Wolf upstairs now supported by Burner Bear, they do have positioning to move on into the site, and indeed they are. Angry Wolf is just going to walk in.
Okay.
Interestingly, no Malusi on that door. Flashbangs will come out to Attic. She's going to be straight on in. Crips T's not looking. Soy, however, is going to find one. AJ will get Brunek. Angry Wolf will find Crips T. So a frag both ways. Tagged up in the back, though. Angry Wolf is taking a lot of damage from the re-aggression up white stairs. Soy has done her deed, but Angry Wolf's actually going to spot her out. The flash to come out, but no, Diana's there for the cross. Will find Angry Wolf on the blitz. It's all up to Katari and Sporky. Left to clutch out the 2v4. Here come the Candelas. There's the Jaeger to shut it down, and Soy finds the headshot. It's all up to Cortari. A 1v4 in this first round. Jaeger is close by. AJ with the shotgun in hand, looking to make a mess, and there it is. The shots are going to come out, and Quacked are going to walk away with a pretty breezy round 1.
Yeah, look, if I was Cortari, I would be spooked as well, getting swung by a very wild Jaeger with a shotgun. That would be something, really. But look, yeah, Quacked doing absolutely clinical job there, shutting down pretty much any routes of a rush, and straight off the bat we see a rather much more conventional pick from Rens. Spooky back on her zero shenanigans, who she had been actually pulling absolute demolitions with. Brunek on Thermite, Cortari on Nook. Well, Cortari can be sometimes a bit of an unusual one. Spooky actually 6 pick from 0 to Flores, so a little bit more of a, say, explosive info gathering.
As well, something to note, Quacked aren't running the mute for the downstairs. They're opting to bring that echo instead. We did see them bringing that mute on the top floor, but now with this operator switch, this is where the Flores is really going to come into his own. I did mention it at the start. Obviously, Flores isn't an operator that we see religiously picked in the Women League. It's not one that I feel some of the teams are quite comfortable with at the moment. Some teams like to run it a lot. We have seen Renz run it before. We have seen Quacked run it a couple of times. We've seen a couple of the other teams run it as well, but it's not an operator that we see every round, 100% pick rate, like you said at the start. But it's good to see them bringing it out now, because we do see Quacked running a couple of those shields. We do see, obviously, Time for Pie bringing one. Crips T's going to have one on that smoke. So we are, I'm assuming, going to see some elbow play from Quacked, which pretty standard in the current Oregon meta. But with Flores obviously in play here for Renz, it's going to be pretty easy for them to clear out this utility if they can do it right. Obviously, you can just shoot the drones, you can mozzie them, you can all sorts of things to shut them down directly, which arguably Quacked are going to be looking to do straight off the bat. Crips T, a little bit aggressive there on the bunker door, but he's going to back off once it is opened up, and Sporky's going to be sending a drone on in here. This is how we're going to see, I'm assuming, Crips T playing for the remainder of this round. She's going to be trying to shut these Flores drones down as they come through. We'll get 2 of the regular drones, though, so already a good little bit of drone clearing utility here for Renz, and Quacked, for Quacked, Renz are now going to have to try come into bunker, and here comes the first Rotira drone.
Beep, 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 beep. Goes the first explosion. Actually does get rid of fully the position, but funnily enough, Crips T won't actually be backing away from that spot, and instead decides to go for a very aggressive, oh, this could be actually huge if her position will be left unchecked. Swing could be coming around. Brunek actually keeping a very tight angle, although completely oblivious to that position, and also team flashed, which is very unfortunate. So right now, this is overall not looking too particularly well, really.
With 1 minute and 30 gone already, Renz are definitely taking their time, but Katara is actually going to find the first pick on to AJ on the roam. Whether or not Jaeger had the shotgun there is going to be my next question for revision, but AJ is unfortunately going to lose her life towards the garage side of the map. Brunek will take a lot of damage as well off screen. We do see in an altercation just outside of the bunker double door. We do see 2 of the members from Quacked inside of Pillar here. So I'd imagine that is going to be the next sort of point of focus here for Renz. A pre-fire from Pi will do a little bit of damage to Burner there, but similarly, Burner will be able to trade some of that damage back onto the Echo inside of Pillar. They haven't actually chosen to completely give up on blue at all yet. Sporky's going to send in another Rotira drone here to try and clear out Crips T, which is going to force her back a little bit, but ultimately she's still there. She's still ready to game SMG-11 in hand. So Quacked are very, very content on holding on to this bunker position. Obviously, with the positioning of their players, we do see all of them pretty much towards that sort of side of the map. But Crips is going to take a lot of damage on the entry here from Brunek, interestingly, on the Thermite. Smokes to try and cover the cross here, but inside of the smoke is going to be Soy, with the red pings assisting now. Could swing on round and pick up this kill, but so close, so far, though. Not going to be able to find it. Bernabed will find Pi. Soy will get Brunek, though, coming down the stairs. Bernabed picks up a second. Sporky also finding one for herself, and Angry Wolf to close things out onto Diana. Renz are going to find a round for themselves to equalize.
Very nice job, really, albeit it more so felt like just at the moments of truth, really, where Quacked could have and should have really emphasized of the sheer amount of information flow that was coming for them and the pings and everything. They didn't really do anything. They didn't go for the usual kind of aggressive swings, and instead, well, got punished pretty quickly, because Renz, even regarding the fact that they are usually playing a much more kind of up close and personal game, the moment you allow them to take an extra step without you supervising it, they'll be able to pretty much start just running out through your whole team. And, well, Cortari and Bernabé and the rest of the team were able to prove that very thing here for round number 2, so not too bad just yet, albeit this is just the beginning for the matchup. We are going to be seeing a retry by Quacked of the Laundry, which does definitely signal that they had a little bit different idea in mind.
They are bringing the same operator lineup, so we are going to see exactly the same, I'd imagine, setup from them. Possibly a very similar roam, a very similar elbow hold, maybe a little bit more utility towards that side of the map. Still no mute, though, which is interesting to see, especially with Flores now in play by Renz, and it's been made very evident that they want to play that Flores. But Quacked are going to be doing Quacked things, and I imagine there is a reason that they're not bringing that mute. Possibly Echo is more important. We never know. Rens might like getting the plant down, and Quacked possibly know this. It could be all VOD review information. Again, you never know, ladies and gentlemen. It could all be part of the strategy. But they did, unfortunately, walk away with the loss that round. And Rens did really, really well picking it apart. They played their time well. It took a little bit longer than sort of usual that we see Rens taking. We usually see them a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more sort of on point coming down to those last few seconds, but they made it work really, really well. So I do have to take my hat off to it, because Quacked ultimately had the positional advantage there. They had their crossfires set up, they had their shields, they even had smoke on the board to deny for extended periods of time, but Rens did really, really well getting in and shutting it down. And it is a real pivotal round for them to get, especially on attack on Oregon, because defending is obviously the favored side. But coming into the third round here, it's going to be whether or not Rens can walk away with the lead, or are Quacked going to be able to find themselves their second. And AJ on top of Freezer, I'd imagine she's got the shotgun in her back pocket.
Yeah, that will be my guess here as well, given the fact that so far the Shotgun Jaeger has been a much more prominent kind of reoccurrence here in this matchup. Curious to see maybe Cortari is going to be that solution, given that she was the one who proceeded with an opening kill in the previous round, so possibly could try to repeat the same success here, although a few more shots to the kneecaps would pretty much be ending her run. So she approaches very closely here. Maybe we shall be seeing the first gunfight actually erupt, because nobody else so far is playing on the ground floor.
Yeah, we only see sort of one or two sort of roamers possibly on the stairs close by. Burnabear, he's going to be opening that door with no drone to come through at all. AJ's going to lose. No, she's not. She's going to trade, thankfully, on to Burnabear. So a 1-for-1 here for both Quacked and Rens. But Sporky's going to find the Rotero kill onto Soy inside of the bomb site. There goes your Malusi. It's not your Echo, but it is going to be a C4 off the board, no longer to be used for the remainder of this round. Qatari does have bottom. Freezer will spot at that shield and will be able to give a call to her teammates at the bottom of main, but Pie's going to be able to take down Angry Wolf. So keeping it even in a 3v3 now. They do have good utility set up for these crossfires here. Pie will spot Qatari, but can't quite land the headshot at the moment. Will spot out Qatari though. Diana will find her inside of Freezer. So now it's up to the bottom main players left. Only 2 of them versus 3. The shield will be cleared out. However, Brunek does have a good angle to deny this Freezer play here, with Diffuser in her hands as well. But with this Echo on the board, it's going to be hard for the Rens to pull it off.
Exactly. Well, Brunek still keeps on holding the angle quite faithfully, but the horrible timing really there for Sporky finds her demise. There's the death of Brunek, and just like that, Quack do score themselves yet another point. Very nice recovery, albeit the beginning did feel a little bit spooky, to say the very least.
Especially with AJ missing that first shotgun shot. I did not think she actually got that kill. I genuinely thought that she unfortunately died there without the trade, but she managed to trade herself. That's how proper gamers do it. So congrats to AJ there. But I mean, it was a very shaky start there for Quacked. They lost a couple of pivotal gunfights. They were down on the advantage, and then ultimately crossfires and positioning really did come in clutch for them there, ultimately netting them that second round that they need these rounds to win, and ultimately that is going to be what they are going to be pushing for in these rounds. That is the whole point at the end of the day. But Rens are similarly going to be fighting for their chance. They will be bringing that BB back out of retirement. Qatari is going to be jumping back on the Navy SEAL, but the rest of the lineup is pretty standard Oregon sort of looking takey operators. No Maverick though, which is interesting. We only see one hard breacher, which is going to be Brunek. I'm not too sure if there's any. No, there's no hard breach device. We do have 9 flashbangs on the board though, so a lot of flash utility for Rens. It's almost like Ying's here, but she's only here in spirit. But only one hard breacher, which is interesting to see. But no direct wall denial really for Quacked, other than the mute. But that is a lot easier to clear out than, say, a Cade or a Bandit. So Rens, I don't imagine, are going to struggle with getting these walls open. It's just going to be whether or not they can manage their time to get both of them open.
Yeah. I am curious, though, how will Diana use her impacts, because obviously she could be hanging around the walk-in closet, and obviously that is actually being prepped up for the impact trick. And if even a single bit of thermite, even if a single thermite charge is going to get denied, she will, well, Brunek won't be able to really make a whole lot of difference, but already the difference is being made. Very nicely done as, well, Angry Wolf might just be able to cop herself the first frag of the round, although Time for Pie now with the rotations might just be able to get the res back up. Which could be huge, but no. Okay, that completely got thrown out into the garbage can. For now, though, a solid opening, given the fact that Soy also was one of the bearers of the C4, so no more. There goes the impact grenades, and right now, Brens are just plowing through their opposition, really.
Quacked do still have a few players on this room. We do see Pi downstairs. We also see AJ at the top of the freezer. She will hear the 1 in Z, but the shot's not going to connect, and her position now given away is going to force her to retreat down to the basement. And now Rens know that there's possibly only 2 on site, with Angry Wolf finding another one onto Pi on the rotate from Kitchen. It isn't looking too good for Quack. Did a 2v5, make it a 3. AJ goes huge and finds 2 inside of main lobby. Burner Bear and Sporky both falling to the M870. However, Brunek coming up main will be able to get the refrag. It's all up to Crips in a 1v3, but the M590 is a very formidable weapon. She does have a few members of the Rens to go through, starting it off with Angry Wolf. She needs to find both Qatari and Brunek if she wants to clutch this round for Quacked.
Exactly. Well, callouts is already there. The quick swing will be pretty much the end of Crips T if she does decide to go and peek the BB, because even with a DMR, it's still a very deadly tool. Unless she's being prone, this could be a completely different turnout. But right now, yeah, Brunek can hold on her own. It's all good, all breezy. And just like that, it's just worked out. Really, there's not much to be really mentioning here. It's just the Rens managed to pick apart the whole lineup of Quacked. And Quacked looked very much lost, really, here for just trying to figure out what do they want to execute, how do they want to execute it, and ultimately, really, it was just an attempt at kind of more so of a ranked play rather than an organized kind of gameplay that we're so used to see from Quacked.
Quack definitely did seem a little bit sort of thrown on their downstairs sort of roam. They did have, obviously, the loss of Soy very, very early on to Angry, but they proceeded to then feed into this loss sort of across the board. We saw the Ash picking up that player inside of Z, Burner Bear obviously getting a frag for herself as well, which gave them a very early 5-3 lead. But then ultimately they just completely extended it. AJ managed to get 2, but was very, very quickly traded back out. And ultimately, Quacked, I think they had too many bodies downstairs, I think is what they were struggling with that round. And then they kept trying to feed in to get that res off, which it did cost them. It really did cost them in the end. And Rens have managed to equalize now, which is pretty big for the Rens. Obviously, they are going to be quite happy with that turn of events. And especially on Oregon Attack. Starting on Oregon Attack, especially against a team like Quacked, is going to be no easy feat. But the Rens are making it look like they do definitely have a chance tonight to give Quacked their first loss. We could see Quacked take their first loss here. It's just going to depend how this split turns out. If it's 4-2 in favor of Rens, Quacked are definitely going to be in trouble.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, even now they are showing a few very troubling signs for themselves, just missing out and just playing in a very disorganized manner. Whereas on the side of Rens, they are very happy to oblige to punish the opposition as much as possible. Fun fact, really, Angry Wolf running the suppressed AK-74, which is usually considered a bit of a curious thing given the low rate of fire, a relatively low damage output, and the recoil to boot at all. So props to her for being able to still be able to frag out with that gun, albeit that the suppressor more and more now becoming quite prevalent due to some of the more relevant pro players using the attachment, and it does allow you to be a little bit more sneaky and kind of introduce a little bit more of a panic to the opposition whenever you do start shooting at them, because obviously you don't get the whole danger notification as to where you're taking the damage from.
Yeah, with no white traces, obviously it's going to be beneficial for whoever is taking the gunfight. Oh, Sporky creeping up on the lurking Diana. Take it down. Some good. Can I just say right now, Rens tonight have had such a phenomenal drone game already. We saw the drones previous round picking up that early frag for them in bins. They've had drones downstairs this time to sort of confirm that Diana's position was roaming. We've got drones again to confirm that AJ's close here on the wall. However, the pre-fire from Sporky's going to pay off, and she's going to take down AJ. The shotgun not proving to be good in close quarters. Brunek will do some damage to Crips as well. And with one person off site, Rens do have the ability to just collapse here, but it's going to be Soy and Crips trying to hold on to the remainder of this bomb site. They do have one on the lurk though. Pi could still go huge from downstairs. It's just going to be whether or not she can actually make it back to the bomb site before the damage is dealt by the Rens. They are playing for main wall. They are going to be trying to get this bomb down, but with a smoke on the board and possibly a C4 or 2 even in the hands of both Soy and Time for Pi, Brunek's going to find Soy though, so make that one C4. It's going to be hard for Quack to pull this off.
Indeed, with Quatari now also making a rotation, she should be able to spot. No, she doesn't. Does though call out that the rotation is happening, but right now it doesn't bother. It's a full collapse right now. Cripsty is the sole survivor here.
Brunek is going to get that bomb down. Traded out though by Angry straight away. The bomb has gone down. Pi's going to have to clutch a 1-2. Will spot out the Ash. A little bit of damage dealt and some lag possibly there, but doesn't matter. Burner Bear's going to find that frag, and the Rens are going to walk away with the lead here, 3-2 in their favor.
There we go, just like that. Look, we were talking about the predictions before, prior to the broadcast, and quite a fair few of us, including the dear friends at the second stream, were kind of saying that, yeah, Quacked are kind of the favorites in this matchup. Obviously, for Rens, they had a few very kind of slow start matches, and which did result in their ultimate loss. This time, this doesn't look like it, really. Rens are just playing on a whole new level, whereas Quacked, maybe it's just not their day today, which is quite unfortunate to witness, really, here.
Mental's a huge part of this game, and it can completely alter how teams play. And maybe tonight Quacks just aren't in that mental headspace for competitive games. Maybe, you know, something happened behind the scenes that we necessarily don't know about. But Quacked are definitely looking like they're in a little bit of struggle street sort of syndrome right now. They're not playing as calm and collected as we usually see. Their calculated aggression isn't paying off that we usually see them pull out of nowhere. There's so much that's going wrong for Quacked right now that is ultimately just going right for Rens. And if you're a Rens fan, obviously that's what you want to be seeing. And hats off to Rens. If Rens win this, I'll be as happy as I would be if Quacked win it. Both of these teams deserve a victory tonight, but ultimately only one can walk away with the victory. And the way Rens are playing right now, Quacked should definitely be very, very scared. Statistically speaking, they have a 100% win rate. They are ultimately going to be, statistically on paper, the favourites to win, but Rens are definitely looking to make that not the case anymore.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at how they play. Obviously, me and Billy and yourself as well, we've all kind of roasted Rens a few times for playing more so like a bit of a ranked stack sometimes, like doing some absolutely just flat out silly stuff, some very odd strats. And then you have also Rens that shows that they've been screaming, they've been practicing, they've been putting in the time to even just get their coordination down pat. And it shows so well. Like, it genuinely feels like a really well-oiled machine that we're seeing them execute. And against some of the other teams, look, maybe this is just like, this is the team that everyone are actually afraid of.
I already said it at the start or previously, but just the droning from Rens has changed completely. Their fluidity throughout the map, their presence of player, their crossfires, their everything looks like it has drastically improved coming into tonight, and that is where the scrims and stuff are going to be paying off, as you said. People practice, people obviously go off and train, but it looks like Rens have been putting in a little bit more work than maybe Quacked have, obviously being the best team. Maybe they got a little bit slack this week. Maybe that's the issue that we're seeing from Quacked right now. But whatever it is going on, Rens are in the lead, and they are looking to further that lead with possibly their 4th round here. Obviously, only a minute left. They are going to have to do some of that amazing drone work to find the remaining members of Quacked. We've also seen Quacked forced down in the bottom floor for more of a bunker-style hole, but Diana's going to start things off with a pick on the Burner Bear on the back stairs, trying to clear out the Ballistic Gadget. Ultimately, she will get it, but no frags in return. And Rens are going to be left in a 4v5 here with 50 seconds left. Still not too much site utility cleared, and the bomb not on the floor.
Exactly. Old Brunex spots the dome piece of the Jaeger, tries to connect a few shots, but nothing ultimately of that, which is going to be a bit of an issue. Quite a stacked push towards the main stairs. There is still some pressure coming out from Angry Wolves to try to maybe make some room, but right now it's all falling apart. Been read into, and slowly, bit by bit, frag by frag, this is being picked apart. Soy pitches in onto the whole dilemma. Angry Wolf now barely in any HP, and Cortari needs to assist here.
With finding those 2 kills, ultimately, there you go. They're going to cement themselves not only a flawless round, but a round on the board to equalize 3-3 on the split. Not the worst start that they could be hoping for, but ultimately it's like nothing's ever happened, and we're just going to see a switch up on the round. Well, the operators obviously attack and defense now is going to be flipped. But this is where Rens could walk away with it. Obviously, defense on Oregon, albeit can be hard sometimes, is going to be the easier side. But there is a big but here. Quacked have very, very good attacks on Oregon. I've seen their attacks. They're very, very precise. They're very, very surgical, and they get the job done very, very well. And Rens, if they can continue the way they have been playing, could hold off the onslaught. We do see that Maverick being bought by Crips. We also see the secondary hard breach from Diana. So already, in terms of hard breach utility, and even just utility in general, we have nades mixed with flashbangs, mixed with soft breach, mixed with concussion. We already have a bit of a better mixture of utility that we saw coming from Rens. But ultimately, even with only 1 hard breacher and only, you know, et cetera, from Rens, they've still managed to pull a 3-3 half off starting on attack. So that is something that you really do have to take into consideration when you're analyzing this, because for Quacked, that's not a very good start. And hopefully they can switch it around here, because Rens are going to walk away with it with the momentum that they've got if Quacked aren't careful.
5 seconds to insert.
Yeah, look, for Quacked, a bit of a definitely a rough one, but for Rens, it definitely shows that they have prepped. They have managed to kind of figure out what exactly they want, and they kind of played around that. Borderline played around that Thermite, fully acknowledging that, well, he's the only kind of person or the only operator that can allow the very kind of reinforced breaches, which they've played around it perfectly well. They cleared out all the roaming, ensure that no from below impact tricking is going to be done, ensure that they do it very quickly to cut off any kinds of rotations, and kind of from there on it just spiraled in their favor, whereas Quack just looked very much unprepared. They were expecting a very kind of standardized play, and look, you can't really predict these kinds of pushes when you're playing literally for a kid's bedroom, but you have on the opposite side of the map a run out from Cortari.
The fact that Cortari is playing this aggression is just hyper aggression, even is what we should refer to it as, is just going to be throwing such big spanners in the works for the Quack girls, because they're going to have to ultimately address this issue. You know, we have to go clear this Roma, but there we go. Sporky on the swing. Soy not expecting to, with the awesome legendary Vigil skin, by the way, that has just come out the Battle Pass. Is going to be able to find that first kill. And that is your soft breach, well, one of your soft breaches, taken down really, really early. And Rens have found themselves a really good pick here going into the middle sort of portion of this round, especially getting that sledge. That's also 2 nades off the board. Given the 4 that Quacked had, it's not a big loss, but we do still see some lost utility for Quacked here. With only a minute left, Sledge now gone, Cortari is going to be able to return back to the bomb site unless she wants to continue roaming, which is probably a good idea, to be honest, for Ren. They need that presence. She has a C4. No, she doesn't have a C4 anymore. She did have a C4 for now.
You pre-placed
it. has already been, yeah. Pre-placed.
It's a pre-placed right on the wooden part.
Oh, no. That's going to be big if it manages to go off. There you go. Ren's already thinking outside the box, trying to dismantle Quack in any way possible, and it's working out for them right now.
Yeah, look, for now, Quack looked absolutely lost for what do they want to do, how they want to do it. They do make a very quick rotation and actually find an opening to equalize the round count, right? Or rather, the player count. Right now, but still, with only less than 30 seconds remain, now the push finally happens, and well, now is the fall possible of the defense of Renz might be starting here.
With the bomb on the floor, 3v4 retake is going to ensue. Qatari's not going to find that kill onto Crips, and with time for Pi finding Brunek, it's going to be all up to Angry Wolf, who's snaking all the way through pit, but it's going to be found out by Diana relatively quickly. And ultimately, a round that looked really, really good for Renz, it's going to go in the favor of Quacked, and this is where that surgical attack's going to come out. I talked about it at the start of the round. Quacked know how to attack this map. They know how to attack it well, and Exhibit A. They lose the first pick. Guys, let's chuck a quick rotate. 180, bam, U-turn, and bang. Bombs on the floor, walls opened, post plant, all the picks, thanks for coming, round. That's it. And Quacked are really good at doing that. They can just instantly, turn the jets on, flip around, and walk away with it. And that's what they've just done. Renz definitely looked like they were going to walk away with that round, but Quacked have made the best of a bad situation and ultimately walked away with it themselves. And now we're even going to see some Flores play from AJ.
Yeah, Flores play here could actually be huge, really, to look into, because it would allow them to ensure that some of the utility is going to be much easier to clear out. For example, even something as simple as getting rid of a castle barricade in a very timely fashion would essentially allow operators like Soy, like Time for Pi, to be on the opposite side of the map, wreaking havoc in their own respective positions, and or for the even better setup, clearing out any utility that could be placed by the reinforced walls. So honestly, plenty of ways to really go about it. So we'll have to see what is exactly going to be the use of the Flores here for AJ. But apart from that, yeah, look, gotta command Quacked. Their offense is definitely looking much more organized than their defense. It's much more fluid.
The fluidity's there. It wasn't on the defense, especially today. Maybe it's just an off day for Quacked, but they definitely look like they have some more motion in them on this attacking side. They do have more ability to continue sort of doing what Quack do best, and that's just getting kills and making rounds go in their favor. And they've done really well so far. Obviously, first round on attack, they made it work. Qatari trying to get a pick here through that tower window isn't going to be met with any heads sort of just yet, but is still going to be trying to hunt for some frags early on here. We do see a lot of utility in the hands of Renz to deny this Flores. We do see Mute being bought by Angry Wolf, which we didn't see for Quacked on all bomb sites, but Renz have sort of look like they want to bring that operator a little bit more and use him a little bit more. Angry Wolf getting very aggressive on that sort of lower angle peak. This is what Renz didn't bring to the table when they attacked. They didn't have this Maverick opening up the attic. They didn't have the duo. We already have main wall open, and here is why Flores is so versatile. Not only can he soft breach, he can clear utility. He can clear out players from certain positions. He's a one-trick bag. He's got flashbangs, he's got a really good main rifle, he's got everything in his kit, and that is ultimately why he is such a good operator. But with Qatari finding a kill like that onto Diana to start things off, and Soy taking a lot of damage as well outside of that double window, Renz are looking like they want to try and take back the round that was lost previously and make this top 4 defense work. They will give up attic ultimately, so they're going to allow Quack to come down into pit. With only a minute, though, they're going to have to make something happen. Qatari will fall to Soy, but Sporket is underneath, looking like she wants to try and make a play, but Soy's going to find a second.
Oh, triple, actually. Make it a 3 for Soy right now. Absolutely disgusting on some of the swings, being able to make it work. But right now, 1 Actually, pardon me. Both players
Attackers.
off-site. Now that's a problem, because this means easy, quick plant for Crips T right now, and she's absolutely bolting for a plan. But right now, Burner actually to pick up a frag onto AJ. This could turn things around a little bit more, but right now, so many sprayed down. Sporky actually does pick up a double for himself. This does put us at a 1v1.
15
Time for
seconds
Pi.
to go.
Has to clutch up. Will find the first. Has the red ping on the second, though. Bernabear's going to
10
have to
seconds
rotate.
left.
She knows now that her position has been compromised. Look at the crouching, though, from Pi. The absolute speed on that Sophia coming around that corner. Look at it go. Oh, my gosh. All of those crouches all bottling up into one
Jeez.
very ultimately swift kill onto the remaining member of Rennes, and the castle will fall. Very good attempt, I will say, from a 2v4 down to a 1v1 is a very good attempt from the Rennes girls, but ultimately the Quacked girls are going to manage to make it work somehow. Ultimately, somehow, it looked like Rennes had that. They got the planter, they got a couple of big kills coming up white. Sporket did go huge there, retaking up from that side of the map, but Quack just had the pieces in place. They had the refrags there, they managed to pick them up, and ultimately net themselves another round, furthering their lead 5-3,
Protect your bombs from
and
being
putting them in a
used by
better
attackers.
position than they were about 5 seconds ago. Rennes now have a little bit of catching up to do, and instead of going back upstairs, we're going to see a return, not for the Rennes, but a return back to the bottom floor nonetheless.
Yeah, look, I mean, after the second attempt failing, it is definitely going to be a bit of a questionable decision if they would have ended up going to the top floor yet again for third time. Not this time though, so we'll have to see how will the Laundry one actually perform for them. Looking back at the history, Laundry was actually
5
one
seconds
out.
to insertion.
I believe.
Attackers are moving
Oh no, wait,
out to locate
Laundry
a bomb
wasn't
and
yet
defuse
played.
it.
This is
No,
going to be the
not
first
yet.
time, but no
Yes.
Laundry for the defensive Rennes. Pardon me, I'm getting a little bit of a dumb brain here. But last time it was played, it did go into the hands of Quack, who were back then on defense. So maybe a little bit more of knowledge as to how to play it around. But with Spooky already catching a fat bit of damage, she just walks into another gunfight and just says goodbye.
But Kotari off screen is going to find Soy again, being the opening, well, not the opening, the second opening frag for the defenders. Kotari will be droned out. It's interesting that we see Kotari on a roam with the smoke, which isn't usually what you'd expect to see from that denial character. A little bit of damage dealt as well, but will manage to find her way into the walk-in closet. It's going to be whether or not Quacked can now drone her out, use their utility efficiently to catch her in this position. If Smoke still had impacts, I'd imagine we would have seen Kotari already vacate the area, but unfortunately he no longer has impacts. And Kotari isn't running the shotgun in this instance. She does have the FMG9 in hand, but the drone is going to finally come into the master bedroom now and will spot out Kotari inside of that walk-in closet. She will be able to get rid of it though, so they are going to be in the dark to say the least, but through the wall, Time for Pi is going to be able to pick up that frag. And that's two pretty big kills for the Quacked girls to find themselves with this early on, especially losing your smoke that quickly. Kotari on the roam, not going to be beneficial for the team in terms of denial. We do still see a couple of C4s in play.
Yeah.
Sorry, only one C4 in play for the Red. So they do still have some
Located
denial,
by
but
attackers.
losing those smokes is going to hurt, I think, a little bit going into the latter part of this round, but we're going to see how the utility usage for Quack really sort of amounts.
Yeah. I mean, look, for Quintari, this is a bit of a kind of her thing to do. The FMG9 is definitely something that she's been pulling out quite a fair few times, and it worked out really, really well previously. Obviously, this time, well, she did still manage to drain a minute and a half, so it's still a very worthwhile investment, albeit it did go off the back of also losing Spooky, which is probably not the best thing really ever. But right now, with 38 seconds remaining, Rennes might just be able to drain enough time to force kind of themselves into a bit of an unfortunate position. But the grenade, Crips T, clinical play, gotta say.
Finding that frag on the Brunek's going to be pretty big, and with AJ taking down Bernabear, it's all up to Angry inside of Elbow to take on 4 of the Quacked members. for the rest of this round, she's going to have to make the best of a bad situation. We'll spot out the first, but Diana is going to be able to shut her down relatively quickly. And Quacked are going to make their way on to match point pretty quickly in their attacking half here on Oregon, albeit Wrens have put up a valiant effort, but right now Quacked have found their stride and are definitely making leaps and bounds towards the finish line.
Indeed they do. Look at this, already 6-3 scoreline Quacked. We've had a few concerns during the first half, but that's only been in the first half, really. The second half been very much a dominant play from them. And just like that, in round number 10, possibly could be looking at the final one, because so far it's been a flawless one for second half of Quacked, and even Diana decides to, you know, spice it up at the end.
The Tiltec 6-pick coming out here for Quacked. Is Blitz going to be as a viable weapon for the Quacked girls as it was for the Kraken boys in OCL? It's up in the air. Blitz is a very interesting character, and we saw Quacked deal with him very, very well on round number 1. Obviously, there was the rehost, which could have ultimately led to some discussion, but you never know. Maybe Quacked were just ready for that Blitz pick. Diana is going to be showing us what she's got with Blitz in her hands. However, we do see Wrens bringing both a Legion, a Frost, and a Capcan. So
yeah, that was my next point, yeah.
For Diana to get into sight, she's going to have to go through quite a bit of utility without dying to any of it before she makes a foot in the door, as well as both Kotari and Bernabe on the roam here. So a lot of anti-shield utility and ultimately just traps, or anti-person utility in play for Wrens, whether or not it's a sort of a last-ditch effort to try and get some easy picks, or whether or not it's part of their legitimate strategy. But with Kotari finding Pi, Soy unfortunately gets taken down by Bernabe for the refrag, so a 1-for-1, but already at the top of main with trophy control. Quacked could be on for a very quick execute if Blitz is close by. This could lead to a big issue. With Brunek also falling now, it's going to have to be a quick rotate from Kotari.
Exactly, already another swing comes around. Diana does end up ultimately winning out the gunfight against Spooky, all down to Kotari and Angry, and neither of them are able to make a rotation over to pick up Brunek, so this is not looking too pretty, although a swing does come out quite victorious. Up next is going to be Diana trying to make a play here. The Pokeball's coming around, but no, it's a wrap. It's a wrap here.
The flash to come out is ultimately going to be the downfall of one of the remaining defenders on the Ren side of things. Kotari below, no C4 for denial. Going to be having to re-aggress into sight. The Capcan traps are doing big work though. Diana has taken a lot of damage from both Capcans and Legions. Brunek will finally fall to the disconnect of the sledge. Kotari will get Diana though, so having Blitz off the board is going to make things a lot easier for her with a triple onto AJ. It's all up to Crips to try and clutch things out. 30 seconds to make the best of the best happen. She needs to get these kills. Will get a drone. Could use that utility to find the location of Crips T, whether or not that is going to be a choice for Kotari here. Instead, she looks like she just is going to try and get aggressive onto the Maverick. She knows that there has to be a player inside of Master, and she is going to swing on round, but no frag in the hands of Kotari. A valiant effort, to say the least. She does find 2 in the situation presented, but Quacked are going to find their footing and walk away with a big 7-3 in the second half.
There we go. Just like that. A very nice, clean performance overall by Quacked, albeit that last round. Yeah, look, if Soy would have left and that would have been also the round that they would have lost, that would have meant a huge amount of momentum absolutely lost out, but that's not the case. 7-3 is the final scoreline. Like you said, Quacked do manage to score themselves their first dub, but they're not done yet at all. They still have a very interesting matchup against, I believe, Fallen Angels. That will be coming right up after a short break as we just set things up, let the players rest a little bit, get ourselves recuperated as well, and, well, we'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned.
is not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon. You soulless soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe. But all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fading. Heed the words I say to you before I will fade away. I need to know what you can do. Show them the only way. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe. But all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for our second game of the evening. Obviously, our first was a pretty big game, 7-3 in favor of Quacked. But we are back now for the second main event of this evening. Let's have a look at who's going to be playing this second matchup tonight. For our second game, we do have Fallen Angels versus Quacked. And our scores for the first round: Skyfire are going to 7-2 Radical Rebels. Fallen Angels are going to 7-4 Grumpy Grapes. And we already know what happened in the Quacked and Wrens game. So do we think for round two, Quacked are going to continue their winning streak, or are Fallen Angels going to make a stand?
Yes, look, some very exciting times are coming up. Very keen to see what's happened. Really, Fallen Angels versus Quacked is going to be a very interesting matchup, to say the very least, given the fact that, well, this matchup has the potential for an upset, given the fact that Fallen Angels already gave the upset to Skyfire, and the Quacked obviously still running absolutely flawless so far.
Quacked have done very well. But let's have a little bit of a refresher course on the rosters for both of these teams, just in case anyone has forgotten. Fallen Angels, the underdogs ultimately in this fight tonight. We're going to see Fallen as Butt Lee ticked off with the subs, Crystal, Shiv, and Icy, coaches Zeth and Sisma. It's going to be a pretty stacked roster coming into this matchup, but let's have a look at who they're versing tonight. Obviously, we already know it's going to be the underdogs. Well, not the underdogs, the overlords, should I say, of the Women's League tournament. It's going to be Quacked. We already know Cripsty, Time for Pie, Diana, AJ, Mons, and Soy are going to be available for this game. I believe Soy has actually departed, though, and it is going to be Mons playing in this second game. So no more Soy for map number 2. But right now, we're going to be seeing the return of that main 5. And in terms of where we're going to be seeing the return of that main 5, let's have a little look at our veto for tonight. Please, no Oregon. And it's not updated, but I have been told that the map is going to be Clubhouse for this.
It is, yes.
For this second map instead of that Oregon. There we go. The updated map band Clubhouse. It's going to be our second map here for Quacked. What do we think, Cthulhu? Do we think that Quacked are going to take their momentum from that first game and go into this second game, or are we going to have Fallen Angels come out on top?
Yeah, look, Fallen Angels might be having a coming off a really nice high for themselves to get the better of Grumpy Grapes in the first round. Going against Quack, this is obviously going to be still quite a tall order, really, to win against them. Even the game of Wrens, which looked very good, was looking initially promising, but Yeah, look, I think Quack might still have it, given the fact that they are coming off the momentum of also being on an attack on the final half of Oregon, now going on an attack on Clubhouse. They might do quite a fair bit of magic here.
Well, we're going to be able to see that very soon. Let's have a quick little look across Clubhouse, a little bit of a refresher flyover, just in case we've forgotten what it looks like. A lovely, lovely map. It is indeed. It's not Oregon, so anything that's not Oregon, I am ultimately happy with at the end of the day. But it is going to be where we reside for map number 2 here on the mainstream, Quacked versus FA. And as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, let's start things off with the bans. Are we going to see Thatcher removed? Probably. Are we going to see Maverick removed?
Also
Question mark.
probably.
Probably, though. Could see Flores ultimately taken out. Could see even the likes of Carly, operator I've seen banned before. So many types of bans to come out on a map like Clubhouse because it is such an ever-changing map. But Maverick is going to be the start of this ban phase here for the defenders. They are going to take out
Proto.
Maverick. Yes.
Cripps is not happy about that ban.
Oh,
Because she was the one who was maining Maverick in the previous map, straight
Feels
off the
bad,
bat,
man. Feels
with
bad,
him out of the
man.
equation. Funnily enough, actually, Thatcher is in the game,
Yes.
the big one, and obviously, yeah, on both sides, some gamers lost their mains, and look, maybe somebody a little bit even closer.
Yeah, apparently Jackalie's going to be the stepbro of the Fallen Angels family, but Mira also being banned. So both the Spaniard pair removed from play this game, at least anyway. Finishing off, Cade, most likely, maybe a Valkyrie, maybe even a Bandit, maybe something we've never seen before that is so big brain that it's going to completely... No, it's just going to be Cade. But there you go.
Psych.
Cade is going to be taken out of the equation, which leaves Valkyrie in play. And on Clubhouse, we have actually seen Valkyrie be quite a pivotal operator on both bottom and top floor holds. So could see some Valkyrie play here for FA, could see some Valkyrie play here for Quacked. It's going to come down to the choices that are made by the teams ultimately at the end of the day. But right now, it doesn't seem like a Valkyrie's being brought out just yet for Fallen Angels. We will see a pretty standard top floor. No, there we go. But is going to bring that Valkyrie to the party. No IQ for Quack just yet. But there we go. A 6-pick though for Butt onto the band. No 6-pick onto IQ, interestingly, from Quacked. Could see Crip switch off. No, she's going to bring Thermite instead over the Ace, which is an interesting switch. Personally, would have kept the Ace. I prefer Ace at the end of the day, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's more so just purely for the fact that obviously with a single charge you can open up a much bigger hole, bigger area. That's one. Two is possibly just for the sheer preference of just the gun, because you compare the M4 between like in which way does it lean more towards like either M4 or the 556 XI. And it kind of feels a little bit leaning towards Thermite's gun, so it feels like more so just maybe a comfort zone kind of pick for Cripps T, which would explain it, and it would make sense, but we'll have to see what is actually going to be the play and the case here, because obviously with only a single hard breacher, Quacked will need to make sure that they nail down their play, but obviously with Mons now and Thatcher, majority of the problems are going to be solved pretty quickly.
With Thatcher in play, this is going to be an interesting map. You can ultimately, I say this all the time, you can bandit trick a Thatcher, but you cannot bandit trick a Maverick. And ultimately, this is probably why the Maverick was banned out by FA. Which is here we are. We're going to see Butt ultimately going to town with that bandit tricking, and that is going to be sort of the agenda here for FA. They're going to try and deny Cripps T on placing, obviously, this Thermite charge on the wall with the Zofia stuns and the flashbangs from Suicide to come out, possibly even a nade, but they're not even going to get a chance to get this wall out. However, Ticktoff will do very well fighting this first frag, but Diana's in sight. She's going to spot out Smoke and will take down Ticktoff all the way into cash. She's going to get a second for herself on the butt. Fallen, however, will take down Cripps T to try and even things back out. 3v3 now, and it's almost like it's a retake here for FA.
Yeah, it is a retake, really. C4 flies in. Lee could have scored herself a frag, but right now, Mons completely unsuspecting about the position, does actually give the notification now and the memo. But the C4 from below could actually be absolutely deadly, and it will be Mons to go down. All down to Time for Pi and Diana, and right now, look, at the very least, the plan did go down.
With the diffuser on the floor, 3v2 ensue. Fallen Angels are going to have to retake them. Pi finding Az. It's a good start for Quacked here. A lot of HP lost for both of the attackers, but a 1v1 now with Pi finding Lee and Fallen finding Diana. Fallen does have the HP advantage. Sophia is going to have to retreat to outside the main breach. With the drone on diffuser now removed by Fallen, she's got about 10 seconds left to make a play here to try and get this kill, and the defuse will spot out Sophia. No, not enough damage dealt. The pistol will be able to finish the kill, and a quad for Fallen to come out, but not enough time on the board to get the defuse in her hand. The first spray should have been enough, but the stun from the Zofia ultimately bought her a little bit more time at the end of that round. And everyone is just as meme as we were. But a big quad kill, to say the least, for Fallen in the first round, but ultimately no round in her grasp.
Yeah, bit of an unfortunate turnout there for her, trying to make the play, make the push really, but look, it is what it is. Maybe she'll get another chance because, well, it is only the first round that just finished up, so plenty of more chances to get the quad kills, maybe even an ace, and with the way how she so far played out her flank, very much that possibility still on the table.
It was very well done. They did manage to retake pretty, I would say, flawlessly, albeit losing a couple frags. But that happens. That happens when you're trying to retake into majority of bomb site situations, especially when the attackers have bunkered themselves down and really sort of set themselves up, which Quacked really did. They did have their crosses held. They had both Time for Pi and Diana set up inside that bomb site to hold on, and hold on they did for as long as they possibly could. But unfortunately, did manage, well, unfortunately for Fallen Angels, didn't manage to win, but Quacked, on time alone, did win that. Fallen Angels, if they'd had a couple of extra seconds, could have walked away with that round, but unfortunately, the diffuser doesn't stop for anybody, not even God himself. And it did tick down, unfortunately, leading to Quacked winning. But Quacked are going to be happy with that, and if you're a Quacked fan, you're definitely going to be happy with that. But still, round number 1 for Quacked, and they are going to be bringing a relatively similar setup. They do have Mons back on that Thatcher. We do see Lee on the roaming mute. There are a lot of the Quacked members, 3, I believe, over towards this west side of the map with a very early entry into the garage, and Lee can definitely hear this, with one rappelling up just above her, out on the CC balcony. Also now coming up rafters, she could pick herself up a frag here. Pi is going to be following a live drone. However, it hasn't spotted the mute that Pi hears, and will be able to get the shot. The Z ping did come out a little bit late there, but all the same. The frag's already been found, and Quacked are going to find a very early pick here going into the second.
Perfect play, perfect collapse, really, and the fact that Time for Pi didn't take any damage is going to be absolutely huge, given the fact that, well, the rest of the team now very much defaulted back to the side, or rather close by to it. Fallen might try to pull off some funky stuff here, though.
If Fallen can get a kill at the top of main, this would be big for the defenders. They really need to try and either equalize or go above and beyond to get this man count advantage, because they are somewhat looking like they can do it. They did really well in that first round. They could have won it if time wasn't against them, but the C4 is going to come out, not going to net them a kill. A little bit of an early call, unfortunately, on that pre-place, but Sledge now will start going to work opening up that floor, and AJ's also going to swing on down and pick up Fallen as well, just to add insult to injury. Finds that kill on top of, obviously, using her utility wisely as well. Will now start going to work inside of the kitchen, opening up some more vertical holes here for Quack to sort of play off of. And FA do have a pretty tall task now, trying to hold on for the remainder of this round. Obviously a 3v5. They do have smoke available. They do have a C4 from Butt. Whether or not it has already been used, I'm not too sure. But they do have a lot of information they're going to have to try and counter here. Mute is on the board, but...
See the foot! Oh no.
Oh, time to buy will spot the foot. No spray down to come yet. Only 40 seconds remain.
Yeah, look, this is still a pretty good time for Fallen Angels, but right now the fact how clinically they were all cleared out is absolutely huge really here. Even if they do suffer a few losses here, this could be very huge already. That's the Bandit goes down. Now if TikTok does manage to score a double, this could be big, but no, she won't be able to really score anything really. All down to the Jaeger, even he can't do anything, so round 2 very much goes into the hands of Quacked, even more so than the first round. And look, overall, this is a much cleaner game from Quacked, which feels like maybe map 1 was a bit of a warm-up for them.
We did see Quacked struggling on the defense side of things, but now that they've managed to sort of had their warm-up, there you go. Lee's already sort of on the back foot and say, "Hey guys, you wanna chuck us a free win, possibly, maybe?" Question mark. But I mean, already we did see Quack struggle in that first game. Their defense sort of half was not the best that we've seen from them, albeit. However, their attack was quite literally flawless. Not a single round dropped on the sort of switch over there at the half. So Quacked are ultimately in that attacking mindset. Whether or not it maybe is just a defender-sided thing that they're sort of not liking. Maybe they're not happy to get reds or something today. You never know. Maybe it's just a one-off thing. But Quacked are sort of ready and raring to go. On the attack side of things, we obviously saw them coming off the back of attack on their last game, so they're most likely going to be warm and ready to go on sort of the attacking side on the second map. So, I mean, Quacked are definitely warmed up, and it is showing through for them. They do have more sort of concise movement. They know what they want to do, and they're doing it very, very efficiently.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb.
Yeah, 100%. They're managing to execute pretty consistently. Overall, it's a much cleaner game from them comparative to what we've seen during Oregon. And albeit it was only 2 rounds so far, so there is still plenty of time for hiccups and mistakes. Quacked definitely look like they are very, very punctual about their clears, about their frags, and even right now hunting down Fallen, it's already like it presents a lot of issues for her.
With a large number of the Quacked sort of faculty coming towards her on this top floor, she's going to do a little bit of damage to AJ, but if she can find a pick here, this is going to be big for FA. She does have the support of Az on the main stairs, about halfway up. She's sort of playing close by to try and maybe catch that refrag if, unfortunately, Fallen is taken out. But there is still ability for Quack to make both of these kills come in their way. Fallen, however, has already wasted a lot of time. We do see both Az and Fallen upstairs trying to waste his time. But as Fallen falls, she will be traded back out by Butt onto Crips. But we do see Az already falling back, trying to maybe hide inside a strip for some late game sort of big brain plays, maybe. I'm not too sure whether or not she's going to stick around that side of the map. It looks like she's sort of gravitating back towards blue. Yeah, so Butt and her, it looks like they are going to be making a concise retreat back to the bomb site. No late game flanks to come out for Fallen Angels, but a pick in both directions, losing a Thermite for a Malusi. I know which trade I'd be in favor of.
I mean, to be honest, you still have quite a fair few chances really to go for some breaches, but the fact that right now Az is absolutely activated is huge. Getting rid of time for Bar and Crips T does mean that, well, way less soft breach, way less hard breach, and whilst Diana still introduces majority of the kind of hard breaching duties really here, it's still going to be a bit of a difficult one. Plus the C4 that is being prepared by Lee before could have been huge, but not anymore, at least just yet. So with 30 seconds remaining, player disadvantage, health disadvantage, it's all looking very, very grim.
If Quacked can pull this off, honestly wouldn't be surprised. They managed to do it against Rennes in Oregon. They could manage to pull off something pretty big here against FA, but it's going to come down to time. 15 seconds left for them to do something, anything at that. They're going to choose to just funnel down main. They do have a Malusi in their way. The first smoke to come out from ticked off. Completely blind, however, though. It's going to cause a bit of an issue, but with Butt finding one, as finding another, and ultimately the third. Diana, AJ, and Mons all fall, and there you go. FA are going to find their first round. A lovely spray down from the Vigil inside of dirt. And there you go. Fallen Angels are finally going to get their foot in the door and a round on the board.
Indeed they will. Look, a very nice, solid execution. Phenomenal, by the way, spray stands for by as. At the end of the round, managed to finally net that much-needed win relatively early into the matchup, so there's still chances for a comeback by Fallen Angels. CCTV, though, is going to be the next one. Now, last time CCTV was almost a clean round from Quacked, but a flying from Fallen pretty much nearly thwarted all of those efforts, and well, she did manage to get the frags on the whole team, but by that time, the timer has ran out. So, maybe looking into this one, I'm curious to see what can be done here, because obviously it's all down to Lee to essentially delay the breach, because there's no way that she's going to be denying any of the breaches for too long with those jammers. So I'm assuming FA are straight away just adjusting for the post-breach scenario.
Post-plant, post-breach, retake is ultimately how you play CC Cash. There is a very sort of structured style when it comes to retaking on this site, and it's ultimately the way that it goes at the end of the day. You see it a lot in high-level pro play. They'll let the wall be opened. They'll open the breach and then play for C4s themselves even sometimes. It's an interesting prospect, to say the least, but FA are definitely looking like they want to play for more of that retake style, and it's going to be whether or not Quacked are prepared for it. We do see, obviously, the return of the Thermite, we do see the return of Thatcher and Diana on that Habana, but with Thatcher in play, it's going to be relatively easy for them to clear this mute jammer off of the main wall. And with no Thatcher, no Bandit in play for Fallen Angels, there goes the wall. It's going to be opened up straight away, and Time for Pie is going to be taken out. But is going to be taken out by Time for Pie with a very strategically placed Claymore just outside the garage run out, and Quacked already finding some good momentum on their attack. With the cross from ticked over into garage, will be able to retake some control.
Bit ballsy.
Yeah, very ballsy.
Very ballsy, yeah. Rotation by ticked off, but on a very good timing really here. Because if she would have hung around for a little bit too long, that would have been the cover gone and pretty much the whole rotation side completely kind of cleared out. But now her position is very well known, so right now a few more drones and that pretty much could be the deal breaker. Plus, she is a smoke, so theoretically she could slow down the push that is happening, but that is going to be a very early usage of the utility. So for now, we'll have to see what is actually the play. And the moment, obviously, I switch off, that's the time she dies, but seems like a bit of an unfortunate timing for her as well. As Free Fire through the wall will be downing her, it's all down to Lee. This is a very similar scenario here, I gotta say.
Well, with a 3v5, ultimately, if they can get the res onto Az, which is probably going to be a pretty tall task to pull off if you are FA, Lee's going to start things off by taking away the possibilities of flawless here for Quacked, and will find a pick on Demons, and the res will come through. Not too sure what has happened. Fallen, possibly a disconnect. I don't know, maybe she's editing her sensitivities, but she's going to... There we go. There is the disconnect. The internet has unfortunately caused her to be removed from the match, and it's all up to Az and Lee now to try and clutch a 2v4 with Lee already finding one. She just needs to find 4 more. Garage is going to be where the bomb's going down. Through that hole in that cash ball, a little bit of damage is going to be dealt. Bomb's going to go down, and Crips will find Az. Time for Fire similarly finding one for herself. The bomb is on the floor, and the frags have all been got. Quacked are going to go up 3-1 here in their favour, and ultimately we are going to be waiting now for a reconnect for one of the FA members.
Indeed, yeah, look, a bit of an unfortunate turnout, because with Lee possibly still alive, this could have been a completely different turnout. But regardless of that, that is not the case. Albeit, as well, one could possibly argue that things been already looking very grim for Fallen Angels. But still, well, let's hope that Fallen will be able to get back into the lobby, into the server, and proceed to keep on playing. Because so far, look, she was one of the key players who did manage to make Quack bleed even on the first round, and she is finally back into the lobby. So we'll just wait for her to accept and, well, essentially pick the operator. But with a 2-round differential, Fallen Angels definitely looking a little bit dire.
Fallen Angels have sort of put up a really good fight so far. As you said, we've seen really good efforts from Fallen herself, and obviously all of the rest of FA. But ultimately, that sort of momentum that Quacked have built up from that sort of first map where their defense didn't go so well, but their attack then sort of just cleaned up. Ultimately, we're now seeing sort of the reiteration of that sort of pressure. They've got that momentum. They're ready to continue on. They're sort of, they're in the zone, we should say, for their attacking half here, and they are doing very, very well from what we can see so far. Obviously, as you said, 2 rounds in their favor, 2-round differential already. We've got similarly Fallen Angels need to find some of that aggression that we've seen Quacked pull out, because if they don't, ultimately, it's going to start costing them more and more rounds. And on Clubhouse, you don't want to be losing those rounds this early on, especially on the defense. But hang on a minute. Is this a bar stock hold that I'm seeing come out from Fall? This, I believe, is a Women's League first.
Wrong.
For this season, is it not?
No, we did see a bar stock hold last week as well, and during the Clubhouse.
I miss out on all the fun stuff apparently. There you go. Our second.
And it was in favor of the defense as well.
Ooh,
last time.
Spicy. So we could see some defense gaming here if FA can manage to pull this off, especially against Quack.
FA?
That'll be pretty big.
FA still yet to call out the rehost, which is a bit concerning for them, given the fact that, well, they had the chance during the prep phase, but it seems like we are going to be going into this round with 1 down, which already from the get-go is pain.
It's
large
it
pain.
feels bad.
Yeah. But regardless of that, you look at the utility, you still have one of the C4s on the side of Lee, who's about to get absolutely bulldozed. Same goes for Butt, as she already took a chunky amount of damage. For Time Papaya is just a matter of just holding down left click, really.
Even using a Zofia charge here could net her a double kill if she shoots both of them at the correct spot, obviously. But some pre-fires to come out through the walls, as we'll find AJ actually. She does have the LMG in hand, so a lot of bullets to shoot out. But Diana finding as finally leaves Butt and no longer Lee on low HP, obviously removed by Crips T. The pre-fires coming through. Ticked Off is the only full HP gamer left in the hands of Fallen Angels. Again, still no rehost to be called, which is a bit of a sad concept for FA, but AJ is also down. Crips T soft breaching with the thermite charge above stock. I like to see the utility usage here. I don't think Quacked were expecting a bar stock. I really don't, to be honest, but all the same, Thermite's utility is going to be used. Going to be opening up that bottom garage double wall as well. And with a minute left, Ticked Off and Butt have their work cut out for them to try and hold off this onslaught.
Yeah, there's still quite a fair bit of work to be done. Butt is oddly enough playing a very passive game for quite far away, so whereas Ticked Off is kind of on the front line. So the moment Ticked Off gets overwhelmed, Butt won't be able to really assist her too much. So this is one of the more concerning things. Diana looking into getting into a gunfight, but right now it's actually Ticked Off picking herself a frag, or rather an injure for now, which could mean a whole lot of issues. But actually Ticked Off popping off, downing another one. Technically it's a 2v2 if Crips T won't be picked up.
15 seconds to go.
If Tix can find the planner here, this could be big, and indeed she will. She goes for a double. Crips T still down on the floor, and it's all up to Mons in a 1.
How was that a
She
misplay?
needs to find 2 frags, but she will find ticked off. And on low HP, the other defender's just gonna run and hide. There's
What?
no way they let ticked off get away with that. Back in the day, me and Panda have spoke very, very sort of in-depth about how good Ticked Off is at smoke, how well she can play the operator, how well she knows to position, use the utility. And there you go. That is example A, B, and C. Ticked Off ultimately, almost single-handedly, I would say, manages to clutch that round using her smoke utility. There was just so much good done by her in that round. The smoke usage, the positioning, it was so much of it was just so good to see for FA, and it was ultimately a round they really, really needed to try and close that gap. Now at 2-3, they're ultimately looking at a bit of an easier half if they can take it to a 3-3, but Quacked are looking to make it a 4-2, and they're not looking to let down anytime soon.
Yeah, look, that round was 110% should have gone into the hands of Quacked, but they ultimately threw that round so hardly that like Mons should have been covering, Crips T should have been picked up because she was in full safety for such a long while, and yeah, it's definitely one of those rounds that feels a little bit kind of a bit of a throw from Quack, but a very good play from Fallen Angels. They were able to get themselves a nice play. The fact that Butt played very passively meant that they were expecting kind of that play. But yeah, look, it's definitely something that is been an interesting turnout, really.
Ultimately not a round that I expected to go in favor of FA at all. And again, a bar stock going in favor of the defenders. Another bar stock going in favor of the defenders. It's that is not what I expected, but there you go. It's an amazing turnout for the defense. Obviously, Fallen Angels picking up another round. Quacked, unfortunately, very, very close to winning, though. Mons did have a very, very quick hand on finding that kill. Just couldn't quite get the second. It was a little bit too far away within her reach. Both players are also on like a sliver, single HP. Was just amazing to see for the clutch. Really, FA needed that round, and it is going to be a pivotal. It is going to be a pivotal round for them. Going into obviously almost the second half, the split only being 1 round away. If they can get a 3-3, they're going to be looking pretty good. But Quacked are going to be going on defense. Are they going to be shaky on Clubhouse like they were in Oregon, or are they going to have cleaned it up and be the Quack that we know?
Yeah, look, we'll definitely have to see once we get over to the second half, because right now this very round 6 is going to be the one to decide as to who will essentially, well, how will the whole scenario kind of unravel. We are still waiting for the last member of FA to join in, and apparently we just got the notification that she can't rejoin, so we'll have to rehost the whole shebang, the whole lobby. So we might throw it to a quick break if we can't get the confirmation from the production, and yeah, we might just hang on, just yeah, we'll quickly get the double check. We are going to be back after a short break, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in a little bit.
see me with it. You don't wanna see me with it.
Give me something to hold on to. I can't help how I think about you. You've moved on like I'm about to. Cause you don't really know about. Cause you don't really need love.
Ladies and gentlemen, very sorry for that technical issue, but we are back nonetheless here for the remainder of this second game. Finally, all the teams have managed to reconnect and everybody is back. Well, hopefully.
Majority.
Majority of everybody is back.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, we did suffer a loss on the side of FA with Fallen Angel, or rather, the Fallen. Unfortunately, out of commission with certain technical difficulties. So, due to ruling, Fallen Angels will have to play in a 4v5 fashion. Which is already a bit crippling for them, given the fact that they are on a round deficit, and the previous round they pretty much pulled off a huge severe misplay by Quacked, which obviously did get very brilliantly punished by TikTok, but regardless of that, still a very huge impact onto possible morale for FA, which could have also been the matchup for them to look into to possibly give themselves even a higher seed, or even just play for an upset really here against Quacked.
Yeah, with losing Fallen, ultimately they're going to be at the end of a tether here. They did get that round previously at the I believe bar stock it was. It's been that long, I've already forgetting. That they did manage to win the bar stock round, which was a pretty pivotal round. Ultimately, they only won one tertiary and primary site before this, and then ultimately they take it to the site that really never gets any play in any form of competitive, but they made it work. So even if they unfortunately lose to Quacked, which is now at a heightened possibility due to the fact that Fallen has disconnected, I'm going to give them win points in my book because they held bar stock and won it. So they get big double W points from me. But right now, obviously, Quacked in a 5v4, they're going to be at already a man advantage or a woman advantage, should I say. But Fallen Angels are going to resort to more of a bunkered style of play, and ultimately they have to. I mean, with losing Fallen, who predominantly is one of their main roamers, they are going to have to play a lot more reserve than they originally were, and it is ultimately going to be costing them. Where we would usually be CFA roaming and picking up kills and getting into fights and causing issues, they're now hiding in the bomb site waiting for Quack to come to them.
Yeah, well, Fallen as well was kind of the primary Melusi player who would be running around, who would be roaming, as would be kind of feeling occasional like a secondary roamer, or even just even sometimes taking the mantle of the primary roamer with the Vigil. No longer going to be the case. It is going to be the decision of in favor of Melusi pick more so than the Vigil. So we shall see if that will make a huge difference for performance ultimately. But for now, going in quite confidently, wants to go and swinging in, actually goes in for a nice gunfight. That's Diana out of the equation, only to get traded out. But regardless of that, the C4 from Lee managed to net herself a nice frag as well.
With only Az off the board as well, Quacked in a 3v3 here. This is pretty big for FA so far. Obviously in a 4v4, they've done well. Sorry, in a 4v5, they've done well to get it down to a 3v3, albeit at a man disadvantage. We do see Butt on low HP. Ticktoff has burnt through most of her utility, but with only 45 seconds, that's sort of what you expect from a smoke at this point in the round. But we are going to see Quacked sort of collapsing towards the bomb site now to try and make this round go in their favor. We do still see Crips T with some smoke utility. We do also have all of the concussions, etc. 4x5, the last Toxic Babe canister to come out here for Ticktoff to try and block off any of this sort of push coming from Moto into the bomb site, but close with the shotgun. Ticktoff is going to be waiting for anyone to walk into the waiting iron sights. However, 10 seconds is going to be the main issue, but we'll find Pi. The shotgun's not going to get Crips T, who will spot out Butt as well. The Inja onto the Jaeger could net them this round. It's all up to Lee. Needs to find two. With Crips getting the bomb on the floor, she's going to find Mons, who's just chilling on top of the box inside a site, and will be able to res Buddha as well now for a 1v2.
Exactly, the swing might be coming around, but Crips T just revealed her position. Swing could be absolutely deadly here right now, and another swing comes around. The SMG comes out. Absolutely phenomenal yet again, off a slither of HP between the both players. FA come out victorious 3-3. Oh my, yeah, hello.
The
Okay.
diffuser goes off, but the frag comes out. I don't know, ruining Butt stats there for the round, but still a valiant effort from Fallen Angels. They have done phenomenal in the situation that they've been given. Obviously a 4v5 and still managing to net themselves around. That is very, very good effort from them, making themselves a 3-3 half, but obviously attacking now is going to be a lot harder than obviously defending, because attacking requires a lot more bodies on the board, you need a lot more utility, and it's just something that they don't have in a 4v5 deficit, and they're actually going to opt to switch off their primary hard breacher for some more soft breach, which is something that they needed, and is very well read by them that they needed to make that switch. But it looks like Quacked are going to be bringing a very heavy roam style roster. We've got Time for Pie on the Vigil, we've got Mons on the Legion, AJ on the Mozzie. If we see a big roam come out from Quacked here, which we definitely are going to see a SSG style roam coming out from them, with even Crips coming upstairs to add some utility to the mix, Fallen Angels in this 4v5 deficit are definitely going to be struggling a little bit in the situation that they're currently finding themselves in. They do only have 4 members, and that is ultimately a lot harder than having 5, especially in a map against Quacked. Already, we're coming into this as the underdogs looking to take Throne away. The undefeated title was looking to be ruined, and Fallen Angels could have definitely done it with that bar stock round, but it's going to be a lot harder for them now than it was a couple of rounds ago.
Well, straight off the bat, the player disadvantage is now being widened even more, with Mons picking up a kill onto Lee out of all the players, which is going to be a huge oof. Even the fact that that's one of the soft breaches now out of the equation still continues her roam, and the roaming game that we are currently seeing, yes, at the end this has kind of evolved a little bit further than just the kind of an expansion to the top floor. Look, for now, it is going to be just a relatively kind of a hollow kind of play, really, with the utility here for the defense of Quacked, but that's not really what they're after. They're after some more just crisp, clean frags, and right now, FA are not really too keen on giving those away. They are intending to full-on send it through the dirt tunnel, which looks like the case, and if executed right, this could actually be quite a huge play, given the fact of just like, if we have a look, only single Diana on the side actually. So if they're quick enough, they could cut off the rotation of Mons and then pretty much take the armory for themselves.
We see a lot of SSG style strategies ultimately countered from rush plays, and here we go. All three members are going to come on through. Butt will actually team kill, but it's all right. TikTok is there to find that kill. Muns will get the first. Butt to trade back on to the player very recently coming from blue, but Crips is going to find Button. A valiant effort from Fallen Angels. They made that play. They committed. Hats off, but the team kill ultimately... There you go. The team kill ultimately didn't do them. The team kill definitely didn't do them any justice there, trying to get into the site. But I mean, FA are now possibly just going to be memeing it from here on in. We did see a Rooney tease there by Lee. She could 6-pick off of that IQ onto the Aruni, onto the Amaru, sorry, could be the choice. There we are. We're going to see that board, as well as the line from Az. So Diana now on the dock. We could also be seeing some spawn peaks from the Quacked end of things. I think this is going to turn into more of a meme-vitational type beat, if you know what I mean, Cthulhu. I think that's what we're going to see for the remainder of this game, and fair enough. I mean, if you now can't win, why not have some fun with it?
Yeah, look, definitely it's an interesting lineup that we are seeing from FA, given the fact that, yeah, they are presented with a relatively limited options, so maybe something out of blue, kind of out of norm, is going to be the best case scenario. And look, maybe an Amaru is actually going to be a huge kind of solution here, given the fact that obviously on the side of Quacked as well, Diana bringing in the P90 dock, with a, I believe suppressor. It's an actual suppressor. I think it is a suppressor. It is a suppressor. Yeah, it is a suppressor. Yeah. It should introduce a little bit of a slightly easier time taking certain gunfights, but we'll have to see what is actually going to be the case, because obviously Lee for now, she does have the secondary hard breach device, so theoretically could actually help Butt to get the breaches done.
FA do have a good balance of utility. They did bring the right tools for the job, and the job ultimately is going to be trying to get in this bomb site, get this bomb down, and get some frags. But Quacked do have a very, very good setup. They do have that utility from Mute. They do have that utility from Smoke. Here we go. Lee's going to send it in through Suicide, and Crips T is going to shut that down very quickly. The M590 to completely remove the Amaru from the round.
bit unfortunate.
Yeah, a little bit of a sad moment, but there you go. Lee has tried her best, and very similarly, Az has tried her best, with AJ finding herself a kill as well on to the Lion, leaving things up to Butt and Ticked Off. Ticked Off does have a pretty good position over AJ here inside of Kitchen. She does seem to hear the Zofia. I'm not too sure if she knows that Ticked Off is as close as she is. It seems like she has some clue, but has lost a lot of HP across the other side of the map as well. But here comes the swing. AJ's going to swing out the hip fire, but it's not going to connect. The C4 as well. I'm
what
not
was
too
the
sure.
idea with detonating C4?
I don't know what the detonation was there, but kill in favor of Fallen Angels is something that they need here. If Butt could get a dock, that'd be kind of cool as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. And with a minute 20 left, a 2v4 is not impossible for FAE, but it's going to be a big feat to pull off.
Exactly. With Mons as well finding that shot onto the feet of Ticked Off, things are certainly going to be looking very much dire. All down to Button with a slither of HP. I'm going to try to channel maybe some sort of a cheeky frag, but yeah, right now, maybe a stim. Any stimmers in chat? Maybe? Possibly Diana?
Any stimmers in chat? Can we get that stimmy check, please?
Stimmy check.
But is definitely in a bit of a dire situation. I mean, they're playing passive. They know they don't need to peek. They're not going to feed any kills unnecessarily to Bud at all that they don't need to. They will spot her walking into the bottom of Garage, but nor Diana or Pi is going to be able to get that kill just yet. But the run out is going to prove to be fruitful, and Pi is going to be able to SMG 11 her way to another round in favor of Quacked. And FA unfortunately couldn't make it happen, but I mean, they're still in it. They're still in it with a chance. There is always that silver lining, and Fallen Angels are definitely going to be looking to try and find that cloud right now.
Well, Gym Bedroom, the site that is usually considered to be a tertiary, will be making a return here for ourselves and for the two teams. Curiously enough, we are going to be seeing a Flores, no decision to bring in a Zafir or anything, and lead to actually 6-pick. Okay. Thermite onto Thermite, yes, okay. Very large brain. Cripsty, though.
Bamboozle.
Now, a bandit over onto a Rooney. Interesting one, just to say the very least, because theoretically, you are making things a whole lot difficult for the attackers to progress, albeit you do not deny the breach. So, from Quacked, it is going to be more so just to deny, or rather slow down the push. But maybe with the Rooney gates, things might get a little bit saucier.
Yeah, it is an unfortunate prospect, really. There was such potential from FA. They were doing so well, and it's now come down to they can still do really well. It's just going to be they need to. Oh, that doesn't look good, but trust me, she's joking, guys. They're still trying. They're still trying. But story of my life. There's some good bans. It's good to see bans at least in all the chat. But Quacked are, I don't imagine going to be trying to give any of these rounds away. They want to, I'd imagine, keep their flawless title. And right now it is relatively still flawless and largely untainted, but Fallen Angel do still have 4 very capable members to make a hole in the Quack defense here. They have that hard breach, they have some soft breach, they have that Retiro, utility. So they do have the right tools for the job here. It's just going to be how they use them, really, coming into sort of the later parts of these rounds. TikTok will lose one of her normal drones and could possibly go for a Logi drop here, and the wall has actually already been opened by Elite. So this is good time here for FA. Losing that drone, though, isn't going to be something they want to be doing. TikTok could be jumping down here. No, Retiro to come out, but we'll find time for Pi to equalise, though. So a 4v4 already for Fallen Angels, a minute 50. The wall open, however, though, is going to be a good start for them. They're going to have to start focusing on the bathroom now, though, with the drop in the Logi. It's going to be the next play in the bedroom.
Sure is. Full swing is about to commence really here. Crips T is the one in the bathroom, Dan in the gym, and right now in a 4v4, funnily enough, it might just be a chance for the swings to happen in favor of Fallen Angels. But it's still very much chaotic here, and AJ right under the window, waiting for the prey to jump in. Oh my lord, that is going to be a bloodbath. Oh, hello. Oh.
She's playing with it. TikTok will die to Diana, though, from inside of Gym. So a long angle here is going to be beneficial for the Frost. The second kill to come out as well, but the refrag to be traded out by Az inside of sight. We'll be able to confirm, and a down on a Crips T as well, with the 45 Mew sock. It's a hard-hitting pistol, to say the least. A lot of damage dealt, and ultimately downed on the floor. Crips T is not going to be able to do much in her current situation, but Az and Butt, make that just Butt, are going to have to try and get into this and win this 1v2. She does have the gun to do so. The Type 89 is definitely a good rifle for this situation. Some damage dealt to Mon. We'll be able to retrieve the diffuser and make her way towards Jim. With Crips T not having bled out just yet, she can still live drone for sound for her team, as well as obviously this bulletproof camera. Still going to be providing information for the defenders, but with only 20 seconds left and the prone on the floor, Quacked are going to walk away with another round that looked really good for FA, but they ultimately couldn't quite pull it off.
Yeah, I would imagine that also the factor of possibly if there was a 5th person in the camp of Fallen Angels for this matchup, that things would have been a little bit more different, but a bit unfortunate for what happened to Fallen. And well, we are here at 3-6 scoreline. Pretty much Quacked are looking at repeating the similar scoreline of what they've achieved back at Oregon. And curious enough, look, Church and Arsenal Room is being brought on board here for our defense of Quacked. Mute, Castle, Vigil, Legion, and Amosi looks like just about a similar kind of lineup from what we've seen from Fallen, albeit, or rather, sorry, from the previous pattern iterations of the defense.
We've seen Quacked pull out pretty much the exact same lineup from when they first played downstairs on that initial sort of bottom four round. They are going to be busting out that SSG strat again. They want to be keeping Fallen Angels on their toes, but I'd imagine this is just default for them at this point. This is the strategy I'd imagine they run most of the time. I've seen Quacked obviously pull out a lot of these SSG styles on multiple maps. We've seen them pull out these types of strategies on Oregon. We've seen them sort of use them on Clubhouse. So it is definitely a style of play that Quacked are relatively comfortable with, and it's something that they may even enjoy doing to some degree because SSGs are very, very intricate holds. But they are picked apart quite easily by one tragic flaw, and that is ultimately a rush play, which we could see FA bust out the box here, but given the fact that 30 seconds already passed, we haven't seen anyone get a little bit sort of close to inside the building just yet. I don't think that is going to be what we're seeing from FA right now, but maybe slow and steady is how they are going to win this race, and you never know. But we'll lose her drone, and the run out from Pi.
Okay.
Oh no, how does that happen? It's all falling apart. The second inside of Freezer as well. Pi gets another one onto TikTok.
Aye.
This round is pretty much, statistically speaking, a write-off for FA, but a 2v5 is not completely impossible. They do still have an Ash, they do still have a Thermite, so they have the right utility, but I don't know if they have the ability to make it work in this situation, especially going up against Quacked.
Attackers have
Don't do
located
it.
a bomb.
Oh man.
Don't do it.
Oh man.
No.
Oh man.
What a
Oh
way.
no.
What a way to go.
What a play. What a way to finish it off. Technically an ace for time for Pi. Technically a 4K to wrap it all up. Unlucky fallen, indeed. Yeah, look, very much unfortunate for what happened there. But regardless of that, GG, well played, and that's the match, really. That's it, and that's the final matchup of the regular season as well.
That is going to be it for the first sort of split, we should say, for this. And there you go. The match results 7-3 in favour of Quacked. They've done well tonight, 7-3ing both of their games. They've pulled off some pretty big feats tonight, albeit against Wrens, who did give them a run for their money in the first half. But we did see a 3-3 scoreline in favour of Fallen Angels as well. So Quacked were a little bit shaky to start off with tonight for both of their games. And ultimately, we did see some really good gameplay from both Wrens and Fallen Angels. But I think, unfortunately, due to the disconnect from Fallen Angels, we could have possibly seen more rounds from them. There were definitely times and sort of places where there were abilities for Fallen Angels to walk away with those rounds, but due to the fact that they just didn't have the manpower, the right utility, Quacked just sort of cleaned up, and it was unfortunate to say the least, but very, very good game still, to say the least.
100%. Yeah, look, it's definitely kind of an unfortunate turnout by Fallen Angels, but very fortunate for Quack. Look, yeah, like you said, 2 7-3s to make it a really nice set of dubs for them to wrap up the regular season and going into what I believe first seed going into the playoffs bracket starting the next play days. And look, overall, this has been an absolutely a ripper of a season for Quacked. Now, finally looking that the whole throne is now empty without Elevate roster kind of disbanding and the org itself also leaving the scene. It's pretty much up for grabs for anyone, and really here, if we thought that we've seen some spicy stuff from the teams during regular season, I would be imagining playoffs is going to be where the big plays will be also coming out.
Playoffs is definitely where I imagine Quacked are going to be going for the throat. They're going to be trying to get the top spot. They're going to be going on for, obviously, taking that Elevate spot and making it their own. They're playing for first. They really want to continue on for the dubs. But we do actually have the standings for all of the games tonight, and we will be getting those up momentarily. But for the two games that we saw, we've had an absolutely monumental night. So here we go. For round two, off screen, we did see Team Skyfire 7-5, Grumpy Grapes. We saw Radical Rebels unfortunately lose 5-7 to Viking Army. And well, we all know what happened with the Fallen Angels and the Quacked games. Both very good on the mainstream here tonight. Both of the Quack games were. They were really, really good. It's good to see Team Skyfire though coming back this week after 2 losses last week and picking up themselves 2 victories this week. I'd imagine they're going to be happy about that as well. But some very big games it seems tonight that we see on both main and B stream. So I'm definitely going to be watching those VODs back.
100%. Yeah, look, it is definitely now well and fully, truly solidified on the standings. We finally have kind of our teams full on figured out where they are all kind of standing. And for teams like Team Skyfire, yeah, like you said, it's a good recuperation, good revival. I believe they are able to surpass Fallen Angels by some points, but we'll get that in a moment after we get all the stats in. But for Fallen Angels, look, at the very least, it's not a bad way to wrap things up. A win and a loss. Well, obviously, things against Quacked felt a little bit upsetting for them, and for very right reasons. Apart from that, look, yeah, maybe for Renz it's been a bit of a rough one. A bye and then that kind of a turnout on Oregon, where it looked really promising for them in the first half. But regardless of that, let's actually have a look at the standings, get ourselves kind of sorted out and figured out as to how are we looking for, essentially, for the playoffs.
Well, there you go. For the round robin, first sort of split Quacked, undefeated 14-0 with a round differential
as well
of 71. And only then in second closest is 46. That is an astronomical feat from Quack, to say the least, with Skyfire, the second closest, 11 wins, 3 losses, winning over FA with round differential, and then Ren's from 37 down to 6 for fourth. There is some huge jumps in those round differentials alone. I mean, not even just games. It is amazing to see the completely different rounds. But there you go. Quacked ending the season for, well, the first part of the season on 42 points and with 14-0. That is an astronomical effort from them, to say the least.
Yeah, look, it's definitely a huge turnout for Quack and a huge effort from them. Same could be really said for Skyfire, Fallen Angels, and Renz. Definitely kind of these top 4 teams have managed to show us some absolutely phenomenal gameplay, really managed to... I've honestly been impressed by just the sheer ferocity by teams like Skyfire, like Fallen Angels, Renz. I was a bit doubtful going into this season, but look, they managed to genuinely impress us. But before we start wrapping things up, let's also have a peek at the finals bracket, because this is where all the juicy stuff is going to be coming around. This is where all the final storylines are going to be coming through, because, well, we already technically got the teaser of the Renz versus Quacked, which is going to be the first seed versus fourth, and then Skyfire versus Fallen Angels, which was last time a win towards FA.
Well, especially with FA coming off on the dub the last time they met up against Skyfire, they are definitely going to, I'd imagine, have some more confidence and hopefully 5 players going into the semi-final. But last time I believe, one of the times we've seen Quacked and Renz play, when we tuned in, it was, I believe, 6-0 in favor of Quacked, and then Renz came back to like 6-5 or something. So Renz, I think, are definitely going to have the ability to get underneath Quacked. And even tonight, I mean, 3-3 in their favor, looked really, really dominant. And then unfortunately on their second half, they sort of just tripped their own feet a little bit and ended up stumbling over for the loss. But I think with some more practice, we did see it evident in the game tonight, with some more of whatever they brought tonight, some more, let's call it pizzazz, some more of that. they could definitely take, I reckon, maybe some points, even a victory over Quacked. But it's all going to come down to the semi-finals. You're going to have to tune in, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to come back and watch all of this amazing gameplay. But I'm pretty sure that is it for me and Cthulhu tonight, ladies
Indeed.
and gentlemen. That is all of the games for this evening. A big 7-3 for Quacked and a 7-3 again in game number 2. Any final thoughts, Cthulhu?
Look, absolutely stunning performances from Quacked. Congratulations to them for finishing their season, or rather regular season, with a flawless run. Still, the main challenges are still awaiting in the playoffs, but I'm definitely keen and excited for the next week and the weeks coming for the playoffs.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And as excited as Cthulhu is, I share that excitement. I'm very excited to see how the semi-finals go, and ultimately the grand final and third and fourth playoffs are going to be astronomical games, but they are still to come. So make sure you stay up to date with everything happening in the Women's League. But other than that, for tonight, me and Cthulhu are going to be signing off. Thank you for tuning in. Congratulations to both teams. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time.
invasion.